All right, so I'm going to do the videos on quadratic function. The first video that we're going to start in on is for TEK 6A, and that's determining the domain and range of quadratic functions. So this is going to be kind of easy and really quick and fast. Should be able to go through all the questions in one video. Okay, so question number 1, we have this golfer. He's hitting a ball, and he's hitting it 6 yards above the ground, and we're given the graph. Okay, now the points that you want to pay attention to is this point, and the maximum point, and then this point over here. So the start, the initial value, the maximum value, and then the value that it hits the ground. We then want to look at the domain value of the situation. Well, the domain value is going to be all of the x values. So I'm going to look at the x value here. The x value here is given to us, and that is 0. So that's going to be our minimum x value. And I'm going to cross out all the answers that have y in it, which is G and H. So now I know either my answer choice is going to be F or J. Now, the answer, the minimum x value, remember your coordinate point is going to be x comma y. So the x value is 0 here. So that's 0, that matches. Here on J, it has 6. That would be if we switch the x and the y value. So that's definitely not the answer. So it has to be F. And if we look over here, the maximum x value that we're going to hit is 230, which matches our graph. So F is definitely our answer. Next question is dealing with domain and range again. Now, the domain of this is going to be really easy to look at, and the domain is going to be all real numbers. So I can eliminate G because it says domain is less than or equal to 17. And I can eliminate J because it says domain is greater than 61. All right, so now F and H both say domain is all real numbers. Now, what I need to do is figure out what my H value, my vertex is. My vertex is going to tell me what my maximum or minimum height is. Now, this is a negative A value. I want to pay attention to my A value here when I'm looking at my maximum value. If my A value is negative, that means I have a sad parabola. So we're looking at a maximum value. So that means that whatever our value of y is going to be less than or equal to. Well, if both of these values that I can have as an answer choice on F and H have a less than or equal to. So we're good on that. And really it should be, actually, we don't even have to go further because look at this. So here it says x is less than or equal to 17. It's not going to be x is less than or equal to 17. It's going to be y is less than or equal to 17. G of H is the same thing as y. So that's going to be G of H. That's our y value. Because look, where this G of H is equal to, that's the same thing as saying y is equal to negative 1/4, blah, 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 blah. So F, without even really doing any calculation, F is going to be our answer. But if we wanted to go ahead and look at our numbers here, our vertex is going to be at 1761. This K value, our vertex is HK. So we know that our value of y is going to be less than or equal to 61. There you go. Boom. Easy peasy. Number 5 from 2018, same thing. We're determining the range. We got to do a little extra work on this one. We're looking at the value. I want to find my vertex. In terms of dealing with time, I would go ahead and recommend that you use your calculator, your graphing calculator. We know that we're going to have a maximum value because our A value, again, is negative. So we have a sad parabola. So I'm going to eliminate all my answer choices that have so that means y is going to be less than or equal to whatever our vertex value, whatever k is. So y is going to be less than or equal to k. So that's going to eliminate B, and that's going to eliminate D. Now, okay, actually, honestly, we don't even have to do any calculations because look at our answer choices. We're looking for the range, which is the y value. A says x is less than or equal to 4. It's not going to be x. It's going to be y is less than or equal to whatever our k value is. So A is out, so it has to be C. Honestly, see, look how easy that is. You don't even have to do any calculations. All right, next question. We're looking for the quadratic given to us on the grid. We want to know which one of these best represents the domain. Domain is really easy for quadratic key functions, real numbers. Boom, done. Next question is, what is the domain? Again, boom, as soon as you see that word domain and you see a quadratic equation, all real numbers, done. Next question, which graph represents the range of all real numbers greater than, greater is going to the right, because less than, left hand, less than, so left hand, less than is going to be going to the left. So it's greater than or equal to -6. So that's going to be y is greater than or equal to -6. So I want to look at my vertex. So A is out, A is a shift to the left. That means this would be a shift down. C, I have a y at -6. That looks pretty good. And if we're talking about greater than, then that means we're looking at all the values going that way. I'm thinking it's C. Let's check our remaining questions. B would be all the y values less than or equal to -6. So B is out. D is definitely out because that's a shift. It's not a shift down. We're good to go. Number 12, we want to know the range. Okay, so I want to look for my vertex when I'm given the range value and a quadratic function, because in order to determine that, I want to find my vertex so that I know that I have a match. I'm going to identify my vertex by noticing the symmetric pairs. So I want to look at the y values that repeat. I have this y value repeats with -7. I have 1 repeats with 1. So this is symmetric pairs, which means my vertex is at 3, -8. So, and I'm not sure if it's a negative or if it's a happy or sad parabola, but that's okay. We know it's not F, and we're going to look at our y value, which is -8. The only answer that has -8 in our answer choices is going to be H. So it has to be H. It's not going to be G or J. Okay. And I believe, yep, this is going to be the last question in the video. So which quadratic representations the domain, so that's the x values, all real numbers greater than or equal to 7 and less than 2. So x is going to be greater than or equal to -7. All right, so I want to think, I'm going to go look at my values that have an x value of -7. The only one that has an x value of -7 is D, because we're looking left to right. Domain is left to right. A has -2 and +7. We want -7. We have C is going to be -4 and 1, that's out. B is going to be -3. Again, that's out. So just stopping right there, it has to be D. And if you look, okay, so D is greater than 7 and less than 2. We've got -7 here and 2 here. So that means we're looking at all the values of x that are in between those two values of -7 and 2 because of the line that's going here from -7 to 2. That's it. And that's the last one. I will see you in the next video.